Keir Starmer and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz drew up plans to cooperate on tackling illegal migration yesterday, as the PM made a bid to reset relations with Berlin. Speaking at a joint press conference in the German Chancellery, Mr. Starmer said both sides hoped a once-in-a-lifetime new treaty would be agreed by the end of the year, which would include advantageous agreements on trade, security, and science and technology. The deal with Germany marks the start of Downing Street's bid to reset relations with the EU, rebuilding partnerships with countries across the bloc. Chancellor Scholz said Germany wants to take this hand reached out to us. A joint statement issued following talks between the two leaders yesterday said the two nations shared a strong friendship, common values and mutual interests. And it said the treaty would reflect Britain and Germany's status as the closest of partners in Europe. But Mr. Starmer insisted the bilateral agreement would not represent a watering down of Brexit. And he vowed their talks toward a deal would not include access to the single market, or customs union, or any return of free movement. But he said a closer relationship with European allies was vital for boosting economic growth in Britain. The PM left the door open to cultural and educational exchanges with Germany in the future, not ruling out a deal similar to the existing Erasmus scheme in the future. But he said no plans had been discussed for a youth mobility scheme, a proposal from the EU to allow under-30s to come to Britain to work and study. He told reporters after the press conference, "We've been really clear: no single market, no customs union, no free movement, no going back into the EU." But he added, "We want a close relationship. Of course. And I do think that can extend across defense, security, education and cultural exchange, and of course, trade. But we didn't go into the details of that today." Substantive discussions took place on tackling smuggling gangs during the talks, with an action plan discussed to intercept small boats before they even reach the English Channel. Many small boats used in illegal crossings are manufactured in Germany, or are transported across the country on their way to northern France. "I simply don't accept that the people who are running this trade can't be taken down. They cannot be busted," Mr. Starmer said. "Intercepting those boats as they are in transit across Europe, and those that are moving them, is an important part of that as far as I'm concerned." Earlier in the day, Mr. Starmer was welcomed to the German Chancellery in Berlin with full military honors, a marching band playing both nations' national anthems, before they headed inside for talks to begin. The two leaders also discussed sharing intelligence data on organized immigration crime and communicating on operational decision-making. And a new defense agreement will be at the heart of the new treaty once it is drawn up, with both leaders expressing concern over the conflict in the Middle East and pledging support for Ukraine for as long as it takes. "We know only too well the debt we owe to the Ukrainian people," Mr. Starmer said, "who fight not just to defend themselves, but for all the people of Europe." Mr. Starmer said, "This treaty is part of a wider reset, grounded in a new spirit of cooperation, with our shared understanding that this will be developed at pace, and that we hope to have agreed it by the end of the year. A Britain reconnected, resetting our relationships, rediscovering our common interest, delivering for working people." Be the first with news from Mirror Politics WhatsApp group. Be first to get the biggest bombshells and breaking news by joining our Politics WhatsApp group here. Newsletter. Or sign up here to the Mirror's Politics newsletter for all the best exclusives and opinions straight to your inbox. Podcast. And listen to our exciting new political podcast, The Division Bell, hosted by Mirror political editor John Stevens and Express political editor Sam Lister, every Tuesday and Thursday.